objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
The armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran launched a crushing response to their evil actions.
When the United States and Israel launched their coordinated assault on Iran in the early hours of the 28th of February 2026, the Gulf states did not applaud. Instead, they watched with fear. They feared that they could get dragged into the ongoing war, and their fear turned into a reality. And Iran retaliated to US-Israeli airstrikes by firing hundreds of missiles and drones at its Arab neighborhood, targeting American military bases on their soil. Civilian and energy infrastructures also took a hit. The Gulf states have spent years trying to broker peace between Iran and the West. Qatar brokered nuclear talks, Oman provided diplomacy, and Saudi Arabia maintained direct dialogue with Iran through 2024 and into 2025. But when the US and Israel's war with Iran broke out, things turned ugly for these Arab countries. Iran targeted the Gulf's image as a safe, booming hub for travel and tourism, and even disrupted the oil and gas industry at its core. So, how have regional tensions put Gulf states under pressure? What are the implications of Iran's strikes on 6 members of the Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC? Has the Gulf's image as a safe tourism hub been damaged? Which countries are the top arms importers? We also look at the war machines being used during the Iran war. All this and much more on WION WideAngle this week. After the US-Israeli strikes on the 28th of February, Iran immediately responded by launching coordinated missile and drone attacks against US military installations in the Gulf region. Many Gulf nations say that their airports, seaports, hotels, and oil refineries were attacked by Tehran. So what are GCC countries and why are they important? Let's understand. The Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC countries, are 6 Arab monarchies that border the Persian Gulf, which are Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The GCC was formed in 1981 to boost economic ties, political cooperation, and joint defense planning among member states. Each of these Gulf nations hosts major military infrastructure, including US bases and assets, making the group a key strategic partner for Western security interests in the region. So, in the ongoing war, Iran retaliated with missile and drone strikes toward US military bases and strategic locations across the Gulf, including airspace over several GCC countries. Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE said that these attacks have hit civilian infrastructure apart from military targets. Some Gulf air defense systems have intercepted scores of incoming missiles and drones. Debris and direct strikes have caused material damage and casualties. Countries have temporarily closed airspace, forcing cancellation and diversion of hundreds of flights across the region. Long lines of passengers were seen at Muscat International Airport as they transited from Gulf states to their home countries amid airspace disruptions. Authorities have been arranging charter flights and securing seats on limited commercial services to evacuate tens of thousands of people. On March 6, a flight carrying 147 people evacuated from West Asia by the Portuguese government landed in Lisbon. Another flight operated by the Air Forces landed the same day with 39 passengers, of which 24 were Portuguese and 15 from other countries.
Acho que há 36 horas que estamos em viagem.
I'd say we're overwhelmed. The trip was completely exhausting. I think we've been traveling for 36 hours. The ground transport from the hotel to Oman was really difficult, and then there was a wait at the airport of about
17 hours. But after we got on the plane, everything was fine.
Estamos muito cansadas.
We're very tired, very overwhelmed, but we're very grateful to be back.
Estar de volta.
Over 100 stranded Polish tourists were repatriated from Oman, landed in Warsaw in the early hours of the 6th of March. Passengers who managed to return on a commercial flight via Dubai described a tense atmosphere in the region.
There were 2 flights from our terminal today, one to Warsaw and I think one to Milan. Such an empty airport really makes an impression. All the tables free, every restaurant empty, only a few passengers on the escalators.
A Japanese government charter plane landed at Tokyo's Narita airport on March 8th after departing Muscat in Oman with 107 Japanese citizens, stranded by the war in Iran on board.
Missile debris fell onto the hotel I was staying in. I wasn't able to come back here on schedule. The airline kept changing the timings and cancelling. Thanks to the people in the UAE that we were able to return safely.
Reportedly, between February 28th, when the conflict with Iran began, and March 8th, more than 37,000 flights to and from West Asia were cancelled. Also, the first repatriation flight carrying Belgian nationals landed at Brussels airport early on March 8th. Belgium's foreign ministry said 234 passengers were on board.
From Dubai, we took a bus to Oman. Then in Oman, we stayed in a hotel. And after that, we took the bus to the airport in Oman. Then we left to come here. But we had a stopover, a technical stop in Egypt to refuel the plane. And then we left again. Just a slightly longer flight than usual, but everything is fine.
We're here. That's what matters today. You have to look at the positive side. That's it.
And seeing your loved ones again?
Yes, my loved ones are here. They were waiting for you. Yes, exactly.
And then there were French tourists stranded in Oman who voiced their anxiety as regional airspace closures left them unable to continue their holiday or return home. Brigitte Brusin and Catherine Cheese were part of a group of 12 travelers who had originally planned to spend a few days in Oman before traveling to Dubai to continue their trip. Instead, they have been stuck in a Muscat hotel as flights across the region remained heavily disrupted.
As we see people arrive and leave because they have planes and we still don't, we feel the anxiety rising, even within the group for some of us, because we really want to go home now, to see our loved ones again and simply return to France where we feel safer.
And then emerged a tale of an improvised journey by road and air to reach home. Varun Krishnan, an Indian technology entrepreneur, abandoned plans to wait for flights to resume in Doha and instead drove to Saudi Arabia before catching onward flights back to India. Navigating through multiple checkpoints, he, along with many others, crossed the Al Salwa border between Qatar and Saudi Arabia and drove through the desert highway to reach Riyadh.
When we are at the border crossing, getting our immigration and the visa done, the phones in the place immigration control were blaring with alarms about attacks over Doha. And we also heard some explosions far away. And it was a little uncomfortable situation at that point of time because we are about to leave and still there is some escalation in terms of the violence.
GCC has code-named the Iranian strikes on its member states as violations of sovereignty and international law. GCC states have so far avoided direct involvement in offensive operations against Iran. It is the positioning of these 6 GCC states that's crucial for several reasons. Proximity to Iran places them first in line for retaliatory strikes, especially where US bases operate. Oil exports and shipping lanes through the Gulf are vital to the global economy, making their stability a worldwide concern. Iranian missiles and drones continue to target Gulf countries, with energy facilities reportedly hit. Bahrain's state oil company Babco has declared force majeure after a strike on its refinery complex. Babco is Bahrain's main oil refinery and a key facility in the country's energy sector. Force majeure is a legal clause used when extraordinary events beyond a company's control disrupt operations. It allows companies to suspend contractual obligations, such as delivering oil or gas. The first major company to invoke force majeure was Qatar Energy. Qatar said that Iran attacked Ras Laffan, the world's largest liquefied natural gas or LNG export facility and industrial complex. Qatar Energy, one of the world's largest energy companies in terms of gas reserves, declared force majeure on March 4. The move triggered a global gas shock as Qatar accounts for roughly 20% of global LNG supply. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has issued another warning to Iran about disrupting shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, the world's busiest oil shipping channel. If Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far, Trump posted on Truth Social. About 20% of the world's oil usually passes through the strait, and the war has severely reduced sea traffic and sent global oil prices soaring. Blocking the strait could inflate the cost of goods and services worldwide and hit some of the world's biggest economies, including China, India, and Japan, which are among the top importers of crude oil passing through the waterway. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most important shipping routes and its most vital oil transit choke point. Bounded to the north by Iran and to the south by Oman and the United Arab Emirates (UAE), the corridor, which is only about 50 kilometers wide at its entrance and exit and about 33 kilometers wide at its narrowest point, connects the Gulf with the Arabian Sea. According to estimates from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, in 2025, about 20 million barrels of oil passed through the Strait of Hormuz per day. That oil comes not only from Iran, but also from other Gulf states such as Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. About 3,000 or so ships usually sail through the strait each month. Iran exports about 1.7 million barrels per day, according to the International Energy Agency. Iran exported $67 billion worth of oil in the financial year ending March 2025, its highest oil revenue in the past decade. A blockade of the strait will also hit Asia hard. China alone is estimated to buy around 90% of the oil that Iran exports to the global market. China uses that oil to make products it then exports to other countries. Higher oil prices could also mean higher prices for consumers around the world.
The whole system is becoming a little bit paralyzed, but especially in the Middle East Gulf. So until that lifts, until those tanker movements restore kind of normal operations, we're going to see things like gasoline prices elevated. And I'm afraid that $4 a gallon might only be the first stop. Because even if the current war in this phase draws to an end, we now have a new chapter of geopolitical instability in that really important region of the world for oil and gas supplies. I think it's going to be with us for quite a while. conceivably even through the rest of the term of President Trump's term.
Not just oil charges, West Asia tourism, worth some $367 billion annually to the region, is also taking a hit from the widening war between US-Israel forces and Iran, putting at risk the region's image as a high-end vacation hotspot after billions in investment in recent years from Abu Dhabi to Dubai. Destinations such as Bahrain, Oman and Qatar recorded some of the steepest declines in the Security Perception Index, which measures how travelers rate the stability of a destination. In Bahrain, the indicator plummeted 81 points to just 9.6 out of 100, while Oman fell 56.7 points to 24.8, and Qatar dropped 54.9 points to 18.4. Other Gulf destinations have shown greater resilience. The United Arab Emirates dropped 48.3 points to 51.9, while Saudi Arabia fell 13.6 points to 85.3. The report warns that even moderate declines may affect international demand, as security remains one of the most important determinants of destination choice.
Pretty well the biggest shutdown we've seen certainly since the COVID pandemic. The growth of the Middle East has been phenomenal in the last few years, with people wanting to holiday there or move there or do business there. And we've seen the enormous growth, of course, of the main hubs like Dubai, Doha and Abu Dhabi. So when they are shut down, it has a significant impact not only on holidaymakers and business travelers, but also on cargo, and that has a major impact on the supply chain overall.
As tensions with the United States and Israel escalate, Iran has signaled it is prepared for a prolonged war. Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, or IRGC, spokesperson said Tehran's armed forces are ready for at least 6 months of high-intensity warfare at the current pace. The Guards, Iran's elite force, also claimed that the missiles used so far in the conflict largely belong to earlier generations produced around 2012 and 2013, suggesting that Tehran retains significant missile reserves and military capacity for a potential extended war. At the start of the war, on the 28th of February, the Israeli military estimated that Iran had around 2,500 ballistic missiles. But the stockpile is likely to have reduced since then, not only due to Iran firing missiles on targets across the Gulf region, but also because of US-Israeli strikes destroying bomb storage sites. Iran is believed to have the ability to quickly ramp up the production of drones. It is a major drone manufacturer and has the industrial capacity to produce around 10,000 per month, according to the Center for Information Resilience. How much of Iran's arms cache remains could be a key factor in determining the course of the war. Reportedly, the drones are launched from a simple scaffold that can be built in just a few hours. The production of one of these drones, called Shahed, is said to cost Iran several $1,000s, and with Shahed comes its US counterpart, Lucas. The war between the United States, Israel coalition and Iran has highlighted a new reality of modern warfare. Low-cost drones may be more decisive than billion-dollar fighter jets. Two nearly identical weapons now dominate the headlines: the Iranian Shahed 136 and Lucas, the latest gear in the US arsenal. On the 1st of March, the US Central Command, or CENTCOM, confirmed that it is giving Iran a taste of its own medicine. The US drone, low-cost, uncrewed combat attack system, or Lucas, was reverse-engineered directly from the Iranian design and mass-produced. turning Tehran's own innovation into a weapon used against it. The Shahid and Lucas are 10 feet long with an 8-foot wingspan and carry an explosive payload in their nose that detonates on impact. The drones can travel hundreds of kilometers autonomously. Over the past week, American forces used the drone for the first time in combat to hit infrastructure and overwhelm Iranian air defense systems. American officials say Lucas's real achievement is not the technology itself, but the speed of its development. The military reverse-engineered a competitor's weapon and fielded its own version. It is clear in modern warfare, the side that can produce tens of thousands of drones, not the most advanced aircraft, may ultimately control the battlefield. Reportedly, Tehran relies less on air power and more on ballistic missiles, cruise missiles and drones to project force. According to a 2022 US Central Command assessment, Iran holds more than 3,000 ballistic missiles. Iran has deployed Khorramshahr-4 ballistic missile, one of the most powerful weapons in its arsenal, amid the escalating war. The missile, known as Khaybar, is considered a key component of Iran's strategic deterrence capability. The Khorramshahr-4 is a medium-range ballistic missile with a range of about 2,000 kilometers, allowing it to reach targets across much of West Asia, including Israel and US bases in the Gulf. It can carry a massive warhead weighing roughly 1,500 to 1,800 kilograms, making it one of the heaviest payload missiles in Iran's arsenal. Iran is also using the variants of the Fateh family, the Fateh 110, Fateh 313 and Fateh Mobin. They are all solid-propelled, road mobile, short-range ballistic missiles with varying ranges and levels of guidance technology. Iran also fields cruise missiles and one-way attack drones designed to overwhelm defenses. On day 11 of the war, the IRGC just changed the rules of the war. IRGC said that now, no more small warheads. Every missile is now a 1-ton monster. More advanced weapons were deployed for the first time from both sides. The US military confirmed the use of the Tomahawk land attack missiles. According to the US Navy, the missiles were launched by Arleigh Burke-class destroyers on February 28th in the strikes against Iran. The Tomahawk cruise missile is a long-range missile typically launched from the sea for use in deep strike missions. In the current war, Tomahawks provided the United States with the ability to strike Iranian military facilities from ships and submarines operating far from the country's coastline. The US military also confirms the first combat use of the US Precision Strike Missile, or PRSM, the country's latest intermediate-range tactical missile. The footage released by US Central Command shows the PRSM being launched from a wheeled M142 high-mobility artillery rocket system, or HIMARS, launcher. The global arms trade is booming. According to a new report by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, or SIPRI, in the last 5 years, global arms deliveries have increased by almost 10% compared to the previous 5-year period. Europe is now the most important region for arms imports. Despite the decrease in arms deliveries since 2025, the US remains the most important arms supplier to Ukraine. India has retained its place as the world's second largest importer of arms in 2021 to 25, with Russia, France and Israel being the top 3 suppliers. At this point, one can only speculate about the extent to which the current conflict in West Asia will boost arms trade in the region. According to the SIPRI report, arms imports by West Asian states fell by 13% in the 5-year period leading to 2025. But 3 countries in the region were among the world's 10 largest arms importers. Saudi Arabia with 6.8% of global imports, Qatar with 6.4%, and Kuwait with 2.8% of global imports. Ever since the war began, Iran has targeted vital infrastructure in the Gulf region. Iran has also indicated that it will not relent in its attacks, rejecting calls for a ceasefire. It remains to be seen how Iran may face long-term consequences with the GCC states, which are unlikely to overlook its strikes and could deepen military cooperation against it.